Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you? This is Meaningful Intuitive Guided Tarot here, coming back to you yet again for another story that I would like to cover and to bring attention to. For those of you, as you can already tell by the title, for those of you that wasn't aware, unfortunately there has been another travesty, another crime or blow toward a university, and I'm speaking about the shooting that took place last night, February 13th, at the Michigan State University. And behind that, there were 3 people killed with 5 wounded. And so the question is, at this time, which has still been unknown, is what was the motive? This seems to be the burning question for authorities and those that is investigating this case behind the shooting that took place at Michigan. And so this reading, guys, will be a straightforward intuitive reading after trying to get more information about it. But as well, when I channeled earlier what I felt may have been the motive, I will stick with my intuition about it, and hopes as well that after this video that it will in some way perhaps shed light or give authorities, possibly if they happen to come across my video, some clues allegedly as to what may have been the motive behind all of this. All right. Also, I want to bear in mind, I want you guys to be open and understand, as I point out the motive behind it, that it does involve politics. And with that being said, in no way will this be a slight or my involving in terms of the political things that goes on. I'm not big into it, neither will I have my channel to be bringing those kind of readings. But because I have channeled what I feel may be the motive, and it does involve politics, then I have to kind of sound alarm. I kind of reveal the message that I have received from my guides. Okay? As we go on with this reading, intuitive reading, you will understand where I'm coming from, and as well for my protection, but just overall, I will be very strategic and be very cautious into certain things that I say, because it is involving, like I said, the political aspect of where I am feeling intuitively inclined to bring forth at this time behind this video. Okay, so with that being said, let us get into what may have been the reason behind the shooting. Again, before I even start, I want to give my condolences and empathy, and may we all at this time send our prayers to those families that have indeed lost their loved ones, and the ones that are currently in critical condition. May we pray for them that they will overcome their injuries and that they will get better and healed. All right, so again, may we send our prayers to these families that have been affected by the victims that have lost their lives, which I mentioned there were 3, and there's 5 that is currently wounded and critical condition. And so, like I said, we hope that they will pull through to get back with their families. All right, so again, the burning question behind what was the cause behind this travesty, behind this sinister action of this shooter that happened again, like I said, last night. Again, there were 5 students that was wounded, and unfortunately there was 3 fatalities behind the shooting. The shooter has been identified as Anthony McCrae, 43 years old, who later died of self-inflicted gunshot wound to himself. Again, the hanging question is, what was the motive behind the shooter going to this university to commit this heinous crime? As it's been stated that there was nothing that they saw in terms of interrelations to the shooter and the school. So there is no ties or affiliation as far as he is concerned, and with the students or of the faculty or anyone pertaining to the university. And so with that being said, again, it points to him being 43 years old. Why would a man who's that old and having no type of affiliation with this university, what would drive him to go right into this university and start shooting? This is where my intuitive abilities or my empathic sense of what may have happened will begin at this point. And what I felt when I channeled the energy and what could have been the reason behind this, allegedly, the first word that came to me was a vendetta. Okay? And as I picked that up, this wasn't a personal vendetta, but it was, if you will, a political vendetta. Why I picked this up? It's going back to what may be allegedly connecting to a convicted ringleader. A ringleader that had, back in 2020, plotted to kidnap Michigan's governor, Gretchen Whitmer, and he had plotted to kidnap her. And it was him and along other co-leaders, but he was the ringleader behind plotting to kidnap the current governor, Gretchen Whitmer. And with that being said, that kind of makes me feel that there is some type of, that explains some type of political antics here that is at play. So, this plot that took place back in 2020 of kidnapping her was due to her COVID-19 pandemic policies. And just the way she handled that whole pandemic situation, it really kind of put the intentions of this ringleader named Barry Croft of Delaware, made mention that his plotting of grabbing and hanging governors, and I believe governors of the Democratic Party, he called tyrants and anti-government social posts and hoped it would touch off a second Civil War. So this ringleader, Barry Croft, discussed starting a revolution of these acts to get a reaction such as the one that was carried out last night at this Michigan University. So it's clear that this has been, what you will, a prolonged racist of insurgents or a revolt. To these, I feel that is connected to a Democratic Party. I feel that those of the Republican Party will be less likely to be targets, but when Gretchen won the election of governor over Tootle Dixon, a member of the Republican Party, Dixon lost to Gretchen by a vote margin of 10.6 percentage points of 43.9 to Gretchen's win. Her percentage margin was 54.5. Now, you might ask, why is this information significant? Because again, it stems right back to the ultimate ringleader. But even though this ringleader has, in fact, is at this time in prison and is serving time behind the plot of kidnapping the governor, there are still, I feel, there is a group, I should say, perhaps informants, but there is a group that is in collaboration And so even though the ringleader is behind bars, so to speak, there is still a collaboration of certain people that is involved in this. And so, again, because of that loss of that Republican candidate, and that the win went to, in fact, a Democratic candidate, it was in some way a disturbing trigger that intensified an act of rebellion toward any Democratic Party. So I feel that any type of governmental laws and policies coming from Democrats parties, it's going to rupture soft targets. Soft targets such as sports venues, shopping venues, schools, as we just saw, locations that are easily accessible to large numbers of people with limited security or protective measures. And so now, fast forwarding to the shooter behind the shooting of Michigan University, I feel and would say that this shooter was sent there to take out or to perform this shooting. He was sent there. I don't feel or picked up specifically that he had any type of psychological issues. It's possible. But I feel that basically he followed an order from someone that wanted to, again, cause an uproar, attention, if you will, to send a subliminal hate message. And although the school was targeted, it wasn't per se the main target. But again, as I mentioned, because it was a soft target in that it was accessible, and because the people behind this wanted to get some type of a message, an underlying message somehow, and because the governor is from Michigan, it was an indirect message to her or again anyone of the Democratic Party. And again, I will say that this was in fact a collaboration, a group, or a revolt. So I am going to leave it at that. I feel that I have said quite a bit within these few minutes in providing what I feel and have sensed and channeled intuitively pertaining to what might have been the motive. Because overall, this is the burning question, is the motive, what was behind it, and what have perhaps been, or what is the struggle in trying to determine, because it's almost like senseless. You have a shooter who is, like I said, middle-aged, and when you think about someone middle-aged just walking into a university with no specific reasons to, it's not like he had a child that went there as far as I know, but if this was someone that was a college age, someone in their 20s, then you could say, well, perhaps, there were other things that was going on. But for a middle-aged man to walk in and start shooting, it's really senseless. It doesn't make any type of sense in terms of what was the reason behind it, other than what I feel that he was influenced. But the influence went deeper, that he was ordered to do this. So he was carrying out an order from someone or a group of people that led him to do this. So again, I'm going to stop here. I hope that in some kind of way, if the authorities or those that are and is investigating this story, that somehow something might provide a clue or give them a little bit closer into what will make sense for them. And basically, it will help to make some type of sense behind the motive behind this. All right, everyone, I'm not going to say if you enjoyed this video because it was nothing to rejoice about. As, like I said, there was lives lost and others that are fighting for their lives. So again, may we send our prayers to these families. And yet again, may we hope that some answers would be, will come out pertaining to making sense of what it is. All right? So again, everyone, please, if you would like to, like I said, send your prayers to these families, I'm sure it will be appreciated. All right, everyone, this is what I have, and again, I hope in some kind of way it will be helpful to those investigating this case. All right, everyone, have a good evening. Until the next time, peace, love, and light. Bye.